Good morning all. Today we are at the workshop. I haven't really worked up here in a little while, so I thought I'd do some work here today. So today didn't really go as planned for me. I was meant to be mapping a car, but it didn't show up. So I thought, as I've got a spare day, which is very, very rare for me, I thought it would be the prime opportunity to work on this. Edd-gasket. You haven't probably seen this van in a while. If you follow my channel, you should know what it is. This is my 1980s Renault Extra van. It's a 1.4 petrol. Eventually I'm going to turbocharge it. It's pretty standard at the moment, other than the fact that it's got some wheels on it. Now, the one thing that's always bugged me with this van, and something that always needs doing, is the ride height. Look at that. Some people say I'm just going to absolutely ruin the van, but it's my van. Do what I want. So the plan today is to lower it. I've got coilovers for the front. And for the back, these are like a torsion bar with like a rear beam. But I do happen to have this still, which is the rear beam off of a Renault 5 Turbo that's already been lowered. So I'm going to overhaul the brakes, got new discs, new pads, new bearings, going to rebuild the calipers. I'm going to try anyway. Get it all up and running, get it all up and built up, and then I'm going to put that whole rear beam on this. So yeah, let's crack on. So, first things first, I need to start overhauling the rear end. I've just been fighting with hammer and chisels to get the pads out of the carrier, hence I'm out of breath because the sun's beating down through that perspex. And I'm a bit hot, but I managed to get the caliper off. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to overhaul these, but I will give it a go. They are pretty knackered. I just hope I've got the right bits to rebuild them. If not, I might just have to lower the front and then try and source a pair of calipers and get the rear end all built up ready. But hey ho, let's crack on, see what happens. This is actually looking a lot better than I thought. I've stripped it all down a bit. Both sliders still move. They're not seized up. I've popped the pistons out. There's not even any rot on the pins, and the boots are still in good condition. Both sides. And to top it off, the piston still moves in the caliper. So I think if I just pop this piston out, you know, if I pop this piston out, renew the seals, hopefully the piston's okay, I might get away with this. It's looking good. It's even still got brake fluid in the caliper. It's looking good. Still not quite out though. Plenty of brake fluid everywhere as well. Come on. Oh! And yes, I did scream like a little girl. Maybe jump ever so slightly. Oh, that's all right, that'll go again. Lovely. Right, let's crack on. So, got the caliper built up, new seals. Didn't bother cleaning them up, just gave them a quick wipe over and wash with a bit of brake cleaner. New bleed nipples, everything freed off. Quite happy with that. Didn't change this back boot here because I didn't have it. Pressed the new bearings into the new disc. Gave them a little clean off. Going to put the new pads in, put the calipers on. And yeah, see how that looks. Ta-da! Ignore my paw prints all over the disc, that will clean off. Disc all built up, caliper all on, pads all in. Yeah, quite happy with that. Right. Just got to do the other side. I won't bore you. I'll just crack on and get that side done as well. Ta-da! All done. New disc, new bearing, new pads, caliper all overhaul, built up. And I didn't scream like a little girl when the piston popped out this time. So that's handy. Right. Let's get the van on the ramp. Right. Van's up on the ramp. Got the wheels off. Beams here. Very professional. Laying on the new discs. Yeah. So I'm going to start by stripping off the brake lines. I've put some clamps on to stop them leaking because I was going to undo this side, but then I realised I've got new Brady brake lines, so these clamps are pretty irrelevant at the minute because I'm now undoing this side, so I'll leave these pipes on this subframe when it comes down. So that's it for now. I'm going to start stripping them off. Going to disconnect the handbrake cable from here and then disconnect the shocks. 2 bolts either side, hopefully they undo and nothing round, so they don't look too rusty, so hopefully I'll get lucky. And then yeah, I can start getting that one off and this one on. Getting quite excited. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the subframe on, just bolt it on either side, and then I need to get the shocks out as well. I've got some gas rear shock absorbers for it. I'm going to bolt the shocks on as well, and then I'm going to put the wheels on and just lower the ramp down to make sure the wheels don't rub, because if they rub, then I'm going to have to cross that bridge when I come to it. I think the Renault 5 Turbo rear beam is slightly narrower than the van beam, and I've got about 1 inch clearance either side from the inner arch to the inside of my tyre, and I think they're about 10 mil narrower, so hopefully they'll be alright. I don't know, I'm going to have to play it by ear and see what happens. If it don't fit, then yeah, let's not talk about that. Right, let's crack on. Sometimes you could really do with a hand. Whee. Woo! Got the beam up, not bolted it up yet. I'm just trying to this is hard work. As you can tell, I haven't got the most upper body strength, but I'm trying to jiggle it around and get the bolts to line up. I could do with a hand really. Right. Right, let me get this bolted up and I'll get a wheel on and see what it looks like. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. I really don't think it's gonna fit. Ooh. Okay, let's put some wheels on. Now, I think I've crossed my wires a little bit. So I said at the start of this that the Renault 5 Turbo beam was narrower than the van beam, but I think it's the other way around. I think the Renault 5 Turbo beam is slightly wider, because when I first put these wheels on this van, when I bolted the back wheels on, they hit the like inner wheel well, so like they just wouldn't turn. So I had to order some really fat chunky spacers, these. Don't know how much they are, like 10-15 mil spacers, and space the wheel out so that they didn't hit the inner arch. But I've now just put the wheels back on without the spacers, and I've had to dig out all my shorter wheel bolts and stuff like that. And I've bolted the wheel on and it looks mint. Bearing in mind I haven't let the van down yet, so there's no weight on it, but there's like loads of clearance up here. You can't really see it. But without, and I'm quite happy because I don't like running spacers, I just had to. But it's close, and I haven't let it down yet. It's got no shock, so it's a bit bouncy. But I'm hoping I might even be able to go down a tyre profile size and get away with that. Or for now, roll the arch with a technical tool, hammer. I'm gonna let it down and see what it looks like. Please let this work. Yes. It looks like I've just got way too much weight in. Yeah, it definitely hits. think I'm gonna have to roll it round a bit. Look at it. Oh my God, that's way too low. Is it even off the ramp yet? Oh, it's not even off the ramp properly. Not gonna lie, looks pretty freaking good though. Front, not so much. Back, it's gonna have to stay like this. I'm gonna have to make it work. It just looks so good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hammer that round a bit though. It's already started bending a bit. Whoops. Okay, I will carry on. So, got the shocks on. Nice new gas shock absorbers. I've got matching gases for the fronts. Ooh, lovely. So they're all bolted up now. Subframe's all bolted up and tight. Just gonna make the brake pipes. Gave a gentle bit of persuasion up here with the old hammer. And now it clears. Did the same the other side. Cracked the paint a little bit, which is a bit annoying, but it's a 1980s van and it ain't original paint, and it has got some filler in it, although it is quite solid, but I'm not that bothered. I can get that blown in at another time. But yeah, so the ride height that you see it at, it's the ride height it's gonna stay, because I am not mucking about trying to get them torsion bars out to wind it up a spline. It can stay like that. I think it's gonna suit it anyway. Right, now I need to sort the rear brakes out. The little green like pipes that go from the calipers to the center of the beam, they just weren't that great, so I've just cut them off, thrown them in the bin, and I'm going to make 2 new copper ones, and then I've got the braided link hoses to go up to the standard van. Once I've done that, I'll start on the front. Brake pipes are done. That side, that side. I run this one over the top of the beam rather than down and up, because there's plenty of clearance there to the fuel filler neck, he says. This one sort of went down and under where it should really go, because of the exhaust is a bit close. Might actually hit the exhaust, I haven't checked that. Time will tell. So yeah, it's pretty much the rear end buttoned up. I've got the brake bias valve connected back up as well. One thing I did forget, I forgot to order handbrake cables. So I need to order some Renault 5 Turbo handbrake cables, but it's not the end of the world. I can leave it in gear. I don't live on a hill, so that's handy. Right, now I'm going to crack on with the front. It's been a long day. 5:30. Started this at 12, you know. Right, onto the fronts. Got the wheels off, as you can see. I'm just going to take the whole strut out. I have got like the big brake conversion for this, which was like common back in the day on the Renault 5s, where they use GT turbo calipers, space them out, and then put bigger discs. I think they were like Renault 19 or 21 TX discs or whatever it was. And you get, you know, just basically bigger brakes. But for now, I'm just going to leave the standard van brakes on, because it's had new disc and pads at some point. They're still brand new. Will change the brake lines though, because obviously I need to bleed all the brakes anyway because of the rear. But I'm going to get the shocks on and see how it goes. So for the coilovers, I'm using Renault 5 GT Turbo. He says I'm using Renault 5 GT Turbo stuff. Now, if you notice, on the Renault 5 GT Turbo, the bolts are not straight with the strut. They're angled. It's because the top mount that the GT Turbo uses is an offset top mount, and on my van, it's straight. So as you can see, it's like straight in line there. If I lay that shock next to this shock, you can see that the holes are straight with the actual strut, and on this one they're offset. So I need to use the Renault 5 GT Turbo top mount, which luckily I have the whole strut here. This is what I mean about the big brake conversion. Obviously these discs are absolute scrap, but eventually I will fit these calipers and them big spacers that you can just about see for big brakes. But yeah, back to the top mount. You can see that the top mount's offset. So I'm going to use the GT Turbo top mount on the gas shock absorbers, and it should be good to go. Yeah, let's crack on. And that's the strut all built up. So if you can imagine, that top mount kicks the strut, top of the strut that way, and then if you imagine the top of these bolts are like this, because the top of the strut moves this way, it will then straighten up the hub. So that's why you have to use the offset top mount. Yeah, right. I'll get this one built up, get it on the car, put the wheels on and then let it down to see how it sits. If I can get it off the ramp. Right, let's crack on. Got the coilovers on. I thought while it's in the air and obviously the wheels are off, I'm going to crack on and change the front brake lines. This one looks a little bit rusty, so I might end up making a new copper line as well, which is great. Yeah, the shocks all fit nice. I'm quite happy with them. So yeah, get in there slowly. So tired. Might have to go grab a pizza. So it is now 7:15. Just bleeding the brakes out, making a bit of a mess. The bleed nipple broke on this side, which is just fabulous. So rather than take the caliper off and try and get it out, I just cracked off the new pipe and I've just bled it out through the pipe. Not ideal, but it does work. I've got a cheap Sealy pressure bleeder on here, which is leaking as well. Only air, not fluid, luckily. So while I've got that under pressure, I've got the bleed bottle cracked open at the back, because you start from the furthest point away from the master cylinder, which is obviously over here. So I bleed this side, then the other side, then near side front, off side front. While the bleed nipple's open and the fluid's like trickling out, I also like to pump the brake pedal as well to try and force it through. I'm a bit worried. I'm just hoping it don't suck up a load of crap from the bottom of the brake fluid reservoir, because it looked a bit nasty in there. I did try and take the reservoir off, but I felt like I was going to break it. If I break it, then I'm stuffed. So yeah, that's how it's going. See if we can get a pedal. Oh, I've got a cheeky McDonald's on the way as well. Literally, what did I just say? Just before I said I've got a cheeky McDonald's on the way. I was worried about crap in the bottom of the cylinder going into the system. So, I have the probe on the brake pedal as hard down as I can get it. Beautiful. 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 Bollocks. So, I was struggling to get fluid out of this corner, and now it seems whatever's happened, whatever crap's gone through the system, has now blocked up the offside rear caliper, or the pipe, or I don't know. I don't even know where it's blocked up. All I know is I'm gonna have to start cracking off pipes and see where the fluid gets to. Let's crack on. So I started right at the back, cracked off the actual pipe going into the caliper, no leaks at all, but no bother. Went back up to this top fitting on the pipe here, cracked that off, no fluid coming out there. Went back to the pipe coming out the bias valve, cracked that off, no fluid coming out of there. Cracked off the inlet pipe to the bias valve, fluid run down there, out of quite hard pressure. Obviously we've got the probe on the pedal. So I'm thinking, my blockage is in here, so it's not too bad. As long as I can get that unbolted, and then I can just sort of flush it out, I'm planning. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to see what I can do with it. I need to do something, because I need to drive this van home. Good news. Quietly confident. So I took the pipe out, the one that goes off around here to the caliper, and then I took the feed out as well. Hit it with the airline, like back flushed it, blew a load of crap out, and then when I put the pipe back in, like the feed into the bias valve, fluid instantly started trickling out of the pipe that goes to this caliper. So I'm hoping I've solved that. So I'm just gonna let it down now, bleed it out again, and see what happens. Wish me luck. Pretty sure I've nailed it. All the brakes have bled out. They all lock up now. But first, crispy chicken. I'm gonna eat this and then I'll crack on. So, I've had a little tidy up. Just swept the floor because it was getting way too messy to be working. It's now 8:30. That's not too bad. Gonna let the ramp down. I've loosened off the track rod ends because I know I'm gonna have to do the wheel alignment, and I've levelled up the coilovers as best as I could. So hopefully it's gonna look all right. Yeah. That sits alright. That'll probably settle up some more when I pull forward as well. Look at the back wheels. I'm going to get pulled over everywhere. I feel the front might need to go a little bit lower though. I don't know. Let me pull it forward off the ramp and I'll see what it looks like. So, a few things I notice. Firstly, this side sits slightly higher than the other side. Secondly, my back wheels rub. Who would have thought? But they don't rub on the arch like you'd think. There's clearance there and there. It's the actual tyre is hitting up here. I reckon these are like a 35 profile. So I think if I go all like Euro and crap and just like down it to a 35 rather than a 45, I reckon I'll get a lot more clearance. He says with absolutely no confidence. On the plus side though, freaking looks hard as nails. Oh, and also, I have no brakes. I know I should have just left it. Sits well. Doesn't rub bad. Does when I hit a bump though. Right, that's about it for this video. I'm not going to string it out anymore. I'm going to do the wheel alignment. I'm going to adjust the ride height on the front a bit. I'm going to try and get some different tyres. I'm going to see if I can fix the brakes again. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Cheers guys, bye bye.